If you want to know the truth about Pirus, look no further. This is the truth right here. Listen, it's real simple. Whether you're someone who's in the streets and you think you know about gang activity in the United States of America, whether you're an academic, a scholar, a gang interventionist, a wannabe gangster, someone who has absolutely nothing in the world to do with gangs, you want to know more about what's going on in society around you, in the background of your reality, if you're a soccer mom, if you're anybody, and you want to know the truth about Blood's Pirus, namely, if you want this intel, this intelligence information, look no further. It's real simple. Now, a lot of people are going to question the notion of mine and say, well, man, I know this and I know that. Well, look, people tend to hype things up. They tend to overthink things, overanalyze them. This is the summary. There are only 4 videos that you have to watch in order to understand this phenomenon of Blood's gangs as they pertain to Pirus. Pirus is a branch of Blood's gang. Quite simply put, I've discussed in one other video, Blood's Pirus East Coast, more organized in California, West Coast OG, the nature of Pirus, the nature of Pirus activity, and some of the goings on of Pirus unbeknownst to the general public and even some so-called gang members themselves. It's like any profession, any trade, any craft. Going back to ancient times, the people at the top of the food chain, the high priests, they're the ones who had all the knowledge, all the information, and they only bestowed it unto those who they thought should have such intelligence information. It's it's related to the saying, you can't just volunteer information always. You gotta buy the intelligence information in a lot of cases. Some cases, yeah, the information is freely available in open societies, open source intelligence information. You can find information if you talk to the right people. As I alluded to, and in the colloquial sense, the expression is quite simply, the game is to be sold, not told. You've heard people say this. I believe Snoop Dogg says this. People say this on the streets. They say it, but they take it for granted, a lot of them. I'm not saying Snoop Dogg takes it for granted, but I'm saying people on the streets, a lot of cats, a lot of people, a lot of individuals on the streets, got to speak Ebonics, and I got to speak non-Ebonics for my different audiences. A lot of people, they say things, and they take the things that they say for granted. The game is to be sold, not told. But like I said, in some instances, you volunteer the information. As an inactive gang member, someone who's been part of the gang, I volunteer the information. Because if you're young and you're in a gang, you don't understand most of the time. If you're immature, if you don't have the right mindset, you're not equipped mentally to understand what's going on around you. People in certain parts of the country, they want you to believe that their neighborhood is the most historic, that they sell the most dope, that they sell the most guns, that the principles that they perpetuate, that they speak about, that they broadcast, that they disseminate, that they impart to you, the youth, the individuals in their organizations are the correct principles, and that you have to believe everything that they tell you is true. And that's true of certain Bloods gangs. They want for you to believe that they were the first, or that they're the most historic, and that you have to do things their way, and that if you don't, you're in violation, so to speak. Well, look, if you watch these 4 videos that I've listed here on this video, you'll know the truth about this particular organization that a lot of people who are part of the organization don't even know. All you have to do is watch 4 videos. If you work in law enforcement, if you work for government, if you work in the private sector, if you're private sector business and you want to know what's going on in the streets around you, if you're an academic, if you're a student, if you're a scholar, if you're someone who just wants to know in general, if you're an old grandmother, if you're a senior citizen, if you're a mother, like I said, a father, if you're someone overseas, there are a lot of these kids and young adults over in places like the Netherlands, Holland, and Germany, and the UK, France, so on and so forth. They want to be in gangs. They look on the internet and they see these different colorful gang sets in the States, and they think that they want to be part of these gangs. But they're misled. They're misled by these individuals in these different neighborhoods saying, if you're going to be part of our gang, you got to do this way, and you got to do that. The truth is, once you're part of those organizations, you're subjected to ambiguity. You start to realize that what you've been told isn't necessarily true. So, again, going back to what I was keeping you in suspense about, is that you have this gang and they tell you that, you have to wear burgundy. And if you don't, you're not really part of the gang. And that their gang controls the other Bloods gangs in the United States of America, and you're not a true blood unless you go to their neighborhood